Right on time. Oh, we timed it up perfect.
Oh. What's up, y'all? And all the forehead that I bring to the show today. We got a jam-packed show today. My forehead is leading this thing in there. Listen, that's a lot of good wisdom right there, Clarence. We got a call from a former Longhorn and someone who has been around the culture of Brian Schottenheimer, Quandre Diggs. We're going to ask about fans, and you can leave it in the chat, but we want to know, should you reset your fandom every single year? Don't bring that old into the new season, and we'll have some Super Bowl and preview projections. Right? Oh! Welcome to another episode of the baddest DLLS Cowboys Podcast. Don't nobody do it better than us. Our captain, Jeff Kavanaugh, is still on vacation. We won't tell you where, but he's out. He's enjoying himself. He's getting some rest. Well, yeah, that might give you a little bit of a description of where he might be. But you know, we all ain't able. We all ain't able. They pay us the smaller bucks than what they pay him, so he can travel the world to see those things. Remember, hit the like button. We didn't get to where we needed to get to yesterday, so make sure you guys are hitting the like button, putting this out, and letting everybody know that we're alive here today. We got a good show for you guys today. We really, really, really do. I'm excited to talk to Quandre Diggs. Old Chill went down in the playbook and said, let me see if I can't find somebody in the Rolodex to give a call to.
Yeah, Quandre Diggs, clearly a Longhorn legend, Big 12 legend back before we went to the SEC, but Longhorn legend. But he played in Seattle, and so he has experience with Brian Schottenheimer from Seattle, also experience with Andre Curtis, the defensive back coach, certainly played last year with the Tennessee Titans, but he's moving out of Tennessee today, but he's going to pop on with us at 11:15. So,
so
stay tuned to get his insight.
I look at this thing rocking and rolling. I am your host, Jesse Holly.
Oh, Jesse Holly went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
We got Clarence Pop Hill.
If you want to win, put Pop.
And we got Joy. We got Joe stuffing them muffins. Hoyt.
Tell him something, Joe.
You want to know something funny?
It better be funny.
So I did a contest for.
No, it ain't the same. Wait, time out.
Yeah, wait.
It ain't the same, Pop.
What? I mean, it's a monster.
First of all, you gotta get a little bit more. You gotta get a little bit more bend in your arm. Don't give me you got the old school.
This is you've drank half of this. This is only 80 milligrams. I'm so scared if you ever had like a C4 or something like that, or like or a Celsius. This is how much energy you got on half of an 80 milligram drink?
I'm always got energy.
I know.
I always got energy. I always bring it.
I'm kidding. I'm teasing. Also, yeah. So
What's funny?
Yeah, we had a contest for if you got the head coaching guess right, I would give you a free T-shirt if you subscribe to the newsletter. Right. Funny thing is, no one got it right. Not one person. So I am still giving a free T-shirt away to our guy. Jeremy Phillips is the winner.
Okay, Jeremy.
It was so fun. Phillips. And I didn't know it was, when you said with the email was Jay Phil, I didn't know it was Jeremy Phillips. So until we started talking a little bit more. So Jeremy, congrats. Free T-shirt coming your way, my guy.
So now on Fridays, Jeremy, you could put on your T-shirt like us. You
know
what I mean?
Free T-shirt, but you pay for the shipping.
No, I got him.
Okay.
All right, so the Cowboys are bringing in Klayton Adams for what seems to be the final interview details on him joining the coaching staff. Now, if you don't know who Klayton Adams is, Klayton Adams started out in Indianapolis as an assistant line coach, tight end coach, then was hired to the Arizona Cardinals where he was the offensive line coach. And now he's coming in as the pseudo offensive coordinator?
Yes. Not the play caller.
Not the play caller, but the offensive coordinator and his background is primarily going to be in the run game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at Brian Schottenheimer putting together his staff, now the one thing that we've talked about when it comes to hiring staff for Jerry Jones, it has long been the price.
Mm-hmm.
It has long been what I'm willing to pay those to come and work for the Dallas Cowboys. And you think about a guy like Klayton who is coming and getting a bump, right? He's going from offensive line coach to offensive coordinator. With that bump should come a price bump in the pay as well. Now, I don't know if that will hold the negotiations up a little bit, but that could be something that we've seen people go in the interview with Jerry and company and then come out because the numbers just can't get right. But with Klayton, if it all comes out and it's all done in the day or so, what does this mean for this Cowboys offense?
Well, let's reset just for a second. Clay's been rumored for a while. It's been a week. We've been talking about Klayton coming in. It's offense coordinator, so they have to interview other people. They have to do the Rooney Rule. So that's kind of why it's just like you couldn't just slam dunk the Klayton thing. And just like, right, but like before Eberflus came in, they had to interview Andre Curtis. So you had to get all that together. I think the fact that he's coming in today for the second interview, it should get done today. Right. You know, he's doing it's a face-to-face interview. It should get done today. But, I mean, the bottom line is that we wrote it last week, that Schottenheimer's offense, they're going to emphasize the running game. Mm-hmm. You know, the run action, play action, those type of things. Stephen Jones talked about it, you know, at the Senior Bowl, about wanting an offensive coordinator that focused on the running game and marrying the running game with the passing game. But the running game was a big focus. You look at what Klayton is known for, you know, based on his time in Arizona, the run game, the run offense. You know, he was offensive line coach, but he was probably the running game coordinator. He was a big part of their run offense. Coming here, good news for Rick O'Dowd. Good news for the offensive line. It's going to be a run game focus. That's what he is known for. That's why the Cowboys are excited, why a lot of Cowboy fans are excited about bringing him in here, is because he is going to improve the running game. One thing that we talked about Schottenheimer, they're going to get the running game fixed. You know, Lunda Wells is also was added back to the staff, tight ends coach. He talked about it. He has a close relationship with Schottenheimer. He says Schott is going to fix the offensive line, fix the run problems, and fix that running game. That's the focus.
Yeah, let me read you some, before you go, Joe, let me read you some numbers of what Klayton, where he's been, and the numbers that we're talking about the running game. So numbers to support that. When Klayton was the assistant offensive line coach in Indianapolis, you think about his first running back was Marlon Mack. Right, Marlon Mack ran in 2019. He ran for 1,091 yards. Marlon Mack 4.4 yards per carry. The team had 4.5 yards of carries. The next 3 years, what we have here, we got 20, 21, 22. That was all Jonathan Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor was 1,169, 1,891, and then he had 861 where he only played 11 games. But the per carry, 5 yards. For Jonathan Taylor, 4.3 for the team, 5.5 for Jonathan Taylor, 5.1 for the team. And then the last 2 years, he was in Arizona. James Conner was the running back. 2023, James Conner ran for 1,040 yards, 5 yards a carry, and the team had 5 yards a carry. 2024, he ran for 1,100 yards, 4.6 yards a carry for James Conner, 5.3 for the team. Now, I know a lot of people, Joe, are talking about the 5.3 yards per carry. People are leaving out the fact that Kyler Murray had 572 rushing yards, and he had a 7.3 yards per carry. So is that numbers jaded or skewed a little bit because of the Kyler Murray?
Well, no doubt that number is skewed, but I think one thing that is not skewed is the physical nature of the running backs that you mentioned, and specifically how they did in Arizona. Shout out to Mauricio Rodriguez, did a great breakdown of Klayton Adams' like use of counters. And I think that when you think of his running game so far, when I think of when the Cowboys played Arizona 2 years ago, I think of a physical running game. I think of something that was down your throat. I think it was, Mary DeMercado running really hard. And I think that you could bring that to Dallas as well to pair with what, Brian Schottenheimer wants to do in the passing game. I think, to your point, Clarence, they're doing exactly what they said they want to do, which I think is not insignificant. Hey, that's what made the Ken Dorsey thing a little interesting yesterday. And I was kind of told, be a little, there was a caveat when that name came up to me. because that's not a guy that would kind of align with what they said they wanted to bring on Brian Schottenheimer's staff. And the one other note, and this is just me pushing my agenda, where did Klayton Adams go to college?
Boise State.
Boise State. Cowboys love their Boise State guys. Could they add another guy at 12? I don't know.
Genty, we want Genty.
If the emphasis is going to be on the running game, if that's going to be the calling card of what Brian Schottenheimer wants to do, and of course his days, you go back to the time in Seattle when you had beast mode, right? You had that opportunity to run with a guy like that, and if that's been his message. Now, this is no shot at Rico or at Hunter Lipke or at Lil Tink Tink. No shots at them at all.
Wow, that was a shot.
What?
Little Tink Tink?
That was a shot.
I'm sorry.
That was a shot.
That was a shot. That was a Schottenheimer
shot. That was a direct shot.
Hand up accountability.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Tink Tink?
My bad. Lil Tink Tink. My bad.
Oh,
my bad. Deuce Vaughn. My bad.
We know.
Yeah, I'm just saying. If that's going to be the emphasis, then it only makes sense that if Genty's there at 12, you go ahead and you jump up and you get Genty because that is the best available back to what you do. Now, the next question is, how do you fix the offensive line for a running back like Genty or whoever else the running back will be to run behind it?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, too. And they got to figure out what Zach Martin's future is going to be. And once they have that decided, then they can move on and start maybe trying to address the guard situation. Mekhi Becton's a free agent. I think that's a guy that, if you're talking about free agent signings, maybe you bring him to play guard. You got to figure out what Tyler Guyton's future is. That's something that is going to be a huge storyline this offseason. But we talked about this yesterday, and we got a little angry at each other.
No anger.
A little contested about passionate about Dak Prescott.
Passion.
Dak Prescott. It's funny. I saw a highlight from him in 2016 when he was running around, juking dudes, hurdling. That's not the Dak Prescott that of this time, and the Dak Prescott you want moving forward. Well, how do you help Dak Prescott out? You get him a powerful running game that you can run play action off of, and I think that with Klayton Adams and a couple other guys, maybe an Ashton Jeanty, an offensive line. You put a little focus in the run blocking there at guard. Maybe this is something that could help Dak Prescott be the $60 million guy that they paid him to be.
I think we know what Zach Martin's future is.
I think so, too.
I mean, Zach Martin is going to retire.
That's what I expect, yeah.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And the Cowboys are fully prepared to move on from Zach Martin. Well, you got McDonald's at home. What you need Zach Martin for? You got the meanest right guard in the country.
He is mean. I think he did bring an attitude. I think you're a Brock Hoffman hater.
I'm not a hater. I just want great play more so than I want attitude.
Was he solid?
That's all semantics, right? Like whether he's a solid, whether he's can he play? Like that's what's going to be all.
Will that dog hunt?
Will the dog hunt next year when he's full time go? But there's one thing, like when you start talking, like we have, and maybe this is just a Cowboy thing because I don't cover any other team, but we've made a huge emphasis on the coordinators, right? And the assistants.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, absolutely. But when you start talking about O-line coach and running back coach and linebacker coach, like let's not kid ourselves. Like I know that we have very, very, very well-informed fans, but a lot of y'all don't know the difference. A lot of y'all don't know the difference between what an O-line coach is going to do and what a linebackers coach is going to do and what the run game coordinator. Like let's be like, I know that we want to put an emphasis on this, but I think we're putting a little bit too much on the assistants. No?
Well, I mean, that's what we're doing with the head coach. I mean, we're putting emphasis on his role as an assistant.
Yeah, but that's a head coach.
I know, but my point is, what has Schottenheimer done? But the Cowboys putting emphasis on, well, he's going to change this and he got experience. I mean, you have to project. And that's what people are doing. They're projecting on what these guys can do. I tell you what, we know when assistants aren't making a difference. I don't think the Cowboys receivers coach made a difference the last couple of years.
I agree.
And now he's in Miami.
Yeah, he's in Miami. But I don't think he made a difference. I mean, who got developed? He didn't develop CD.
No. CD came.
He didn't develop. I mean, Tolbert has not gotten, better, appreciably better. I mean, who's he developed?
Well, it's also the backup quarterback theory that I kind of brought up on our Media Mash show. It's the idea of something new, something changed, something, hey, unknown. Like, what can they do this?
But I'll also say, like, when you start talking about the pro level, a lot of assistant coaches aren't really developing a lot of guys. There's not enough time in the day. There's not enough time in the day to develop a player. Like, it's all about what you're willing to do on your own in the offseason. But I think this is still a lot of meat on the bones of this, and we'll continue to talk about it because that's what we do. Coming up next, we got Quandre Diggs. We got Quay Diggs. We got Quandre Diggs calling in. He's going to give us his thoughts about what Brian Schottenheimer is, who he is, how he's going to build a culture, and is he a good fit for the Dallas Cowboys? Coming right up on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Let me tell you about my friends at Ice Shaker. Head on over to iceshaker.com, and if you use the promo code ALLCITY25, you get 25% off on one of their cooler drinks. I like this one because if you're not a workout person, and I know that everybody is walking around with their water, you should be hydrated. You should get at least a gallon of water a day. But if that's not your thing and you don't want to do the protein thing, this is a great fix right here. It keeps your hot and cold beverages cold up to 30 hours. That means all day plus some more. And if you don't want the Cowboy logo on it, that's fine. I mean, that's stupid, but if you don't, that's fine. You can go to the custom part of the on the website and you can download your own. So head on over to see our friends at iceshakers.com. Use the promo code ALLCITY25 and get 25% off your next order. Get a gift for a friend. Also, our friends at HelloFresh. I know you hate going to the grocery store. Groceries are getting a little bit high. You got to spend gas to go to the grocery store. You got to stand in line. And depending on what grocery store you go to, they may not have enough people to check you out the line. So now you're standing in line for the next 35 minutes and you only got a couple of items in your basket because you're just trying to make dinner just for you or just for a couple of people. So let's just get away with going to the grocery store. Let's just get away from it. Head on over to HelloFresh. And what HelloFresh is going to do is that if you use our promo code Cowboys10FM, that you will get, 10 free meals? No, you only get 10 free meals. I lost my old copy point on this thing right here. You get up to 10 free meals and high protein items for life at HelloFresh.com. So use the promo code and order from there, and they'll give you 10 free items. So I've done it. Joe's done it. Clarence done it. Kit Kat's done it. Jeff's done it. We've all done it. The food is... And you get everything in this box. You get the ingredients, you get the vegetables, you get everything. It's a one-stop shop. So go visit our friends at HelloFresh.com. Do we have Mr. Diggs? All right. Let's bring him up.
My guy's good.
All right, listen, if he wasn't good, we were going to blame you. We was going to blame you. There he is. Can you hear us?
Yo.
All right, there we go.
Yep, I hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you, man. We got you. Let me give you a proper intro right here. Former Texas Longhorn, 3-time Pro Bowler. He spent time with the Lions, with Seattle, and most recently with the Tennessee Titans. We have Quandre Diggs. Welcome to the show, my brother.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here, man. Got an old school in the middle, man. We very fond of each other.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
We call him Pop on this show.
Stop it, man.
He old enough for sure.
Thank you. Clarence keeps trying to hold on to this. I'm Unc. I'm OG. Yeah. I'm like, nah, bro, you Pop. Like you Pop, but that's just what it's gonna be.
I have no grandkids, man. I'm not Pop. I'm still OG.
Yeah, but you ain't Unc. You feel me? When you Unc, you buy your. They trying to say Unc is 30s and 40s now. That's what they be trying to call me in the locker room. I'm like, nah, gang, can't do it.
That's because you're around them 20-year-olds. That's them 20-year-olds, man.
Nah, you Pop,
man. I appreciate you coming. I see you driving. Are you moving out of Tennessee and getting all that stuff together? But I thought it was a great idea. Certainly, the Cowboys hired Brian Schottenheimer. You have a relationship with Schottenheimer from your days in Seattle, certainly, as well as Andre Curtis. Just from a Schottenheimer standpoint, just what are your thoughts on him? How did he interact with the players? Your opinion of him as a Cowboys coach?
I mean, I think Schotty's phenomenal with, building relationships with the players. I'm a defensive guy, and, I had a relationship with Schotty that was pretty cool, and you can go to him, you ask him questions, he's going to give you honest answers. But he's very detail-oriented. Every time he stood up in front of the team, guys respected and loved, what he brought to the table. And you respected it because you felt like you knew that what he said he was going to tell you in those meetings, that's what you was going to get out of him. I think he can command the room. I think he's been there. Those guys know him. They know what they expect. And I think the offense will be in good hands, and with the defense staff they building around, I think Shotty's going to be hands off with that, and kind of let the defensive coordinator do their thing, and kind of just manage that way.
Yeah, Quandre, we talked to some players with the Cowboys too, and obviously Schottenheimer's with the offense here in Dallas as well. But they also said, like, yeah, we loved building a relationship with him and kind of what he brought from that culture standpoint. I'm just curious if you kind of elaborate on, like, how does a defensive or an offensive coach build relationships with defensive guys? Because I think some fans think they're two separate rooms, two separate things. How does Brian Schottenheimer go about kind of doing that?
I mean, I think he just goes out of his way doing walkthroughs and doing times where the offense and defense are together, and defense might be up or offense might be up, and he's just going around just talking to guys and letting guys know who he is. You know what I mean? And not necessarily just worried about the offensive guys. He wants guys to respond to him both ways, and I think that's the best way to do it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of my instance here, like with Brian Callahan. He was our quarterback coach in Detroit when I was there, and I had a relationship with Cali before I got here in Tennessee. So I think it's just, the offensive guys knowing that they had to reach out and have a relationship. And, how could you be an offense coordinator and not have a relationship with Micah Parsons or, with Trayvon Diggs and those type of guys? So you got to talk to those guys. You got to be around those guys. And I think when the defensive guys can feel the offensive coach, it takes a little bit of that tension versus defense and things like that.
Quandre Diggs, NFL safety, played under or played with Brian Schottenheimer in Seattle. From a discipline perspective, your time being around Brian Schottenheimer in Seattle, how is he when it comes to discipline, whether it's pre-snap penalties, whether it's late for meetings, whether it's, when you're looking from the defensive side, if the team jumped off sides or the team ran a wrong route or, had a holding penalty, how was that handled by Brian Schottenheimer?
I mean, he did address those things on Mondays, offensive, penalties, things like that. He addressed them in the meeting in front of everybody. And, that was from Russ. That was from Russ to DK to Tyler Lockett to Chris Carson to different things like that. Fumbles, holdings. He addressed all those things, and guys understood it. You know what I mean? That's part of the coaching, and that's part of what it is. But I've heard, from him being in meetings where, guys had certain things as that he didn't feel like was, great in meetings, not sitting up in meetings and things like that. I think he addressed those things. And I mean, obviously, Shotty's been around the league a long time. His daddy was a great coach. So he's been around it for such a long time that I'm sure he knows how to handle discipline. And I know he knows how to do it the right way.
Andre Curtis, you played under him, defensive back coach up at Seattle. He's going to be the defense passing game coordinator. Certainly he's going to have an impact on defense. What kind of coach is he? What can Cowboys expect? What can players expect from Andre Curtis?
I mean, I love Dre. You know what I mean? Dre's a military guy. He's a guy that's very, all about details. And one thing Dre's not going to do, he's not going to disrespect you. He's not going to, yell and curse at you. But he demands the respect on just the way he handles himself and the way he goes about his business. And he's always going to have a story for you. You know what I mean? So guys might as well get ready for that. He's going to have a story for you almost every day, and that's going to cut into your meeting time. So you need to make sure that, you're doing some extra studying. But, as far as like being a coach, he's all about the details and his technique. And he's going to let his players play. You know what I mean? That's all you can expect. That's all as a player like myself, that's what you really want, is somebody that's going to let you play and have fun and, do the things that you do. So I love Dre. He's one of my favorite people. I talked to him the other day when I congratulated him on the new job. And, I think he'll be a good fit out there.
What's the best Andre Curtis story that you could share with us?
I mean, man, honestly, it's so many because I was with Dre for 3.5 years or 2.5 years, and it was a new one every day. But I think for him, he always liked to tell his military stories about, how they had to do conditioning, had to run in the boots, and he always talk about the pain of discipline is always better than the pain of regret. And he likes to put that one up on the board and point it out every day. And, at that point, you just know what he's going to say when you go in there.
Dre, I don't know, I should have looked more into this, but have you had games versus Dak Prescott? And if the answer is yes, from a defense perspective, How do you look at a player like Dak Prescott, or how do you look at a player going up against a receiver like CeeDee Lamb? What is your mindset? I know defensively guys can sometimes be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get one over here. He fooled. He gonna give us one. He gonna throw us one. Or defending a guy like CeeDee Lamb, sometimes you go out there and you go like, man, we in one with this one today. We got to be on our P's and Q today. How do you look at Dak Prescott as a quarterback and CeeDee Lamb as a receiver?
I mean, I look at them both as, very, very good players, like great players in my mind. Dak is one of the best in the league, and I think he gets an unfair rap of, being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys and everything that comes with that. But I think in my mind, if you can ask a lot of teams with bad quarterback situations, you ask them would they take Dak Prescott, I guarantee the answer would say yes, really, really fast. So I have a lot of Dak. You guys saw, in Seattle last year, we played you guys last year, the year before last, actually, and how he torched us, torched us very, very good. So I got a lot of respect for Dak. I think he's one of the best. And I think, injuries has kind of, slowed him down this past year, but I think he'll be back to who he is. And the same with CD. When you talk about top 5 receivers in the league, his name is in there. You know what I mean? And you know that he's going to get targets all game. And you know that you got to be on your P's and Q's with him, knowing where he lines up, where he is in certain formations. And if you're a big-time corner, you got to know you're going to have a long day because you're going to be getting a lot of targets. And he's going to be getting the ball. And he's very explosive when he catches the ball, and he wants to go score a touchdown. So, big fan of CD. I mean, CD, I remember Cass talking about CD when he was in high school, when he was playing my high school, and how he was doing them boys. So, been a big fan of him, even though he went to OU. Been a big fan and still a big fan.
Real quickly, you played in Detroit. Just talk about the Super Bowl team. I don't know if you expected Detroit to get there this year, but how tough is that? You get to the conference championship game and think, okay, it's my turn to take the next step. It just tells you how crazy the league is, and nothing is guaranteed.
I mean, every year, it's always a Super Bowl favorite, and it's always, this is the team here, this is the team there. And at the end of the year, it always shows. You never can take those, the preseason hype and all that other stuff that comes with it. You can never take that stuff serious all the time. I mean, you look at it, it's always seem like a different NFC team, but the AFC team has always been the Chiefs for the longest now. And, you had that run with Tom Brady when it was the Patriots, you know what I mean? So I think it's a little bit more parity in the league, which is cool. But at the same time, it sucks to see Detroit not in it, for me, because I was cheering for those guys all year. And I wanted them to do it for the city. But at the same time, when it's their time, it's their time. And right now, it ain't their time. It's, the Eagles' time, which I'm excited to see them because I got some good friends on that team.
Quandre, brother, we appreciate you joining us, man. Thank you so much. This was great information. I see that already our chat started talking about the quote that you said. Coach said, the pain of discipline is better than the pain of regret. So we appreciate you, man. Drive safely, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Hook 'em, man. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em always.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
I'm not going to lie. He made me feel a little bit better about Brian Schottenheimer. Coming from a player's perspective, and I don't know him as well as far as a player, because sometimes you have players and they'll just like, I'm going to say the right thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you have someone that's going to be like, I'm going to give you the real. But if he's a friend of Pop-Pop's, then that means he's a dude whose word definitely is a word of quality. Mm-hmm. And so here are the things that he said about Brian Schottenheimer. Definitely, if there was a bank to add a little bit of funds into the saying, okay, Shotty, maybe, all right, let's give him a chance.
Yeah, I've been consistent in my thinking. I think Brian Schottenheimer has the capabilities to be a really good head coach. But he needs support, and will that happen? I'm not sure.
Well, here's the one thing that I do know. The fans are eagerly anticipating this. And we had a really, really good conversation that I want to carry over into this next segment about should fans actually reset, forget what happened last year, throw caution to the wind, blind optimism heading into the next season. So stay right here with us. We'll bring up that conversation on DLLS Cowboys Podcast. if you're a big sports fan or outdoors fans, or you're grilling in the backyard, you're a cookout person, let me tell you about this cooler. At RuggedRoadOutdoors.com, they have the best coolers around. Not only are they durable, not only are they stylish, not only are they roomy, but they keep product super cold. You never have to worry about your sodas, your juice, your beers going hot, because they're going to keep them cool. And if you happen to be on the lake, I know that we're kind of getting on the tail end of the winter and we're getting to that springtime. So the lakes will be back popping again. The grills will be back smoking again. You'll have people over the house. This grill, if you're on the lake or at the pool, don't have to worry about it tipping over, because this cooler floats upright. So head on over to ruggedroad.com. Use the promo code DLLS and get 10% off a cooler. Get one for your man friend. Get one for your hubby, for your boyfriend, whoever it is. Make the grilling better with Rugged Road Outdoor Coolers. And if you got a dude and he has a man cave, if you're a lady and you got a she shed, it doesn't matter. Head over to see our friends at FOCO and get your shed, your man cave, your TV room, whatever it is, get it right. Whether it's the bobbleheads, whether it's the friendship bracelets, they have jackets, they have bracelets. What else do they have? They have beachwear. They have everything. They have overalls. There's something for fans for almost every occasion. They have decorations and just anything that you can possibly think of. They got it. Look at our background up here. All the little things that you see up here, like that's them. That's get yourself right. All you got to do, and you're going to save a little money. Use the promo code DLLS and get 10% off anything that you buy. I know there's a grandpa watching, there's a grandma watching, there's an auntie, there's an uncle. Send those things out to your nieces, your nephews, your granddaughters, your grandsons, or whoever. FOCO.com. All right, we had a great conversation leading into this show today. And I was thinking about this last night, and it came in twofold. For me, it came in, the first wave it came in, and you brought it up to me earlier, I'm a North Carolina Tar Heel. I'm not a North Carolina Tar Heel fan. I am a Tar Heel.
Mm-hmm.
And my team took an ugly L the other night against Pittsburgh. And now I cover the Cowboys, right? And I am a Cowboy. I'm not a Cowboy fan. But as I start listening to how the coaching search is going, and even how I responded to it, about the coaching of Brian Schottenheimer, I've been very vocal about how I felt about it, how I have not liked it, how I have not done any of those things, in a positive way. And I started to think to myself, I said, should fans reset? When you come off a bad season, a bad game, right? You're taught, put it behind you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing offense, defense, good play, bad play, put it behind you. Move forward to the next thing. From a fan's perspective, and I want the fans like and subscribe, hit the like button, but I also want you to comment on this. Should the fans reset? Should the fans totally be like, you know what? Season is done. 7-10 is over. That staff is not here anymore. This team will not be the same team again. Should the fans just blindly go into next season with hope, with aspirations, and joy, because what is old, what is new is yet to come?
7-10. I've been covering this team since 1997.
You're the
4
curse.
playoff wins. Most Cowboy fans have never seen the Cowboys become winners. And the ones that have seen them become winners haven't seen them become winners in 30 years. And it's hard to say 7-10. Most of these fans have 30 years, this 30-year cloud hanging on.
Yeah.
When I talk about Dak and CD and now Brian Schottenheimer not just carrying that 7-10 scarlet letter, they're carrying the 30-year scarlet letter, the 30 years of being not getting it. What is Stephen Jones call it?
Narrative.
The little drought.
The little drought.
Little
It's
drought.
the little drought is hanging over everybody's head. It's hard to just say, hey, 7-10, I feel good going next year, because it's not just 7-10. It's the little drought of 30 years that's hanging over these teams, hanging over these fans. People cannot just, obviously, I think everybody comes into new season with hope that it'll be better. Most Cowboy fans come into new season hoping, praying, pleading, begging that they can end this 30-year drought.
Yeah. No, one of my favorite movies is Memento, and I love it because of the structure and how it starts at the end and then kind of has flashbacks and goes backwards. I think the Cowboys this past season, and honestly, we'll see kind of moving forward, I feel like we know the answer before the season begins how it's going to go, and I think history tells us that. I think we also know, think about the other side. I've gotten this feeling that the Kansas City Chiefs are almost inevitable right now, right? It's the same thing with Quandre talking about there. He's like, is someone going to unseat them? When he was talking about the Lions, he was talking about the Tom Brady years. Right now, Kansas City Chief fans can go into every year not resetting because they think that they're going to win a Super Bowl. Dallas Cowboy fans go into every single season thinking, hey, we might have a successful season. We might get 12 wins, but when the playoffs come around, it might not result in the NFC Championship trip we want. That's the little drought. That's the big reality about where the Cowboys fans are. I think ideally, yes, reset, get some hope in, and see some offseason moves, get excited about them. But I think the more that this drought goes on, the heavier it gets on Cowboys fans, and it's harder to reset.
So, but every area of most people's life, there's a reset. Like every year you come into December 31st.
New season.
No, December 31st, a new year is on the horizon, right? You get your New Year's resolution. They got their vision board parties, and I'm going to lose weight, and I'm going to eat better, and I'm not going to smoke cigarettes, and I'm going to stop drinking. Right?
And then 2 weeks later.
Right? Sometimes people go through with it, and they reset, and they change. And they could have been smoking for 30 years. They could have been drinking for 30 years. There's a lot of other areas in life where you reset after the year is over. No. What is the big? Why is there a big holdup when it comes to sports?
Because you carry the debt from Q4 into Q1.
Yeah,
it happens. You bring it all over. Like you cannot shake what happened last year.
Okay, so if you write a bad story, right? Let's say you write a story and your story gets killed and nobody likes your story.
Happens.
Right? Does that stop you from writing stories?
No.
You reset, right? You reset and you say my next
story
is going to be
but I get an opportunity to change it the next day. The Cowboys don't have an opportunity to change that for months and months and months. And then the reality is, I know I'm going to write a good story again. I'm not sure the Cowboys have the confidence to believe they're going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon.
And it's really it's like being a Longhorn fan for all those years and not having success. During all those years from 06 to now, and you have PTSD. And I think Cowboy fans have PTSD. I don't care how, when things go well, it's like, okay, but, we're going to be, we're going to have that PTSD. We know how it's going to end. You can never shake. When you have all these bad memories, you can never shake those bad memories. It's hard to just reset, go into the new season. Yes, everybody has hope in the offseason. The draft, I hear people in the chat already, they heard Diggs and somebody said, I feel good about this team. I'm getting optimistic. The more they talk, I feel good about that. And you're going to feel good. That's what the offseason is for. Free agency and the draft. You're going to training camp and everybody's saying the right things and doing the right things. And then the season happens. And that PTSD comes up.
We also saw training camp last year have less numbers. And then we saw the end of this season have, fans were sprinting to get standing room tickets in the beginning of this season. By the end, they were strolling. I do think that there's, to your point, I'm glad you brought the reference too of like New Year's, right? Because I think some people do. Some people change for the better, and some people turn things around and they put down the cigarette box and they get back in the gym every day and things change. But that's not everyone, and I'd honestly say the percentage of that kind of gets, if you say you're going to do your New Year's resolution one year and don't do it, it gets harder to do it over and over again. I think a lot of Cowboy fans fit in that.
Katya, we had a super chat, and it was pertaining to this one. Our boy Nesto. Thank you for the super chat, Nesto. Nesto says, absolutely not. That's what Jerry and Steven expect from us, which then creates lazy work in the offseason. Go to Kevin Gray. Our Kevin Gray, he had one. He said there would be a reset if Jerry and Stephen Jones wasn't running this team year after year.
But I think that's what every fan base, this is what every fan base goes through. When you don't win the Super Bowl, how do you get recharged for the next year? How do you feel good about your team going to next year?
Yeah, but 31 teams don't win the Super Bowl.
I know. It
single year.
It happens in every market.
And I think my vantage point or my view on what I'm trying to get across is, I think there is optimism when your team loses. Like whoever loses in the Super Bowl, yes, that team will be upset. That fan base will be upset, but it will still be like, well, you know what? We should get back here next year. There's a level of optimism when your team gets to the Super Bowl or your team gets to an AFC or NFC championship. But when your team is 7-10, right? Like, should you carry that over into next year, or should you say, all right, 7-10 is done? We all know, and especially in the NFL, every single year, 33% of the roster is turned over every single year. So no team will ever be the same again. So there will be a new team that comes in September to start the season out.
Yeah, you know what fan base was able to reset last year? The Washington Commanders. Why? Because they had a change in ownership. They had a lot of free agent money to spend, and they spent it. They got a new head coach, and they drafted Jaden Daniels with the 2nd overall pick, and that brought hope to a franchise that had none for a long, long time. And we saw what it did. They went to an NFC Championship game. They became, they made sure the Cowboys were now the longest little drought team to not make it to the NFC Championship game in the conference. And I think that's what will inspire hope. That's what can inspire a reset, is actual change and not just words.
Do you want hope or history?
So what do I want?
You want hope or history?
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's the bar.
Yeah, well, hope is,
that's the bar.
So,
Yeah, that's the bar.
And like I asked Condre about Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit's never won a Super Bowl.
100%.
Detroit has never been to a Super Bowl. Okay? Cowboys got 5 of them things.
But 28-year-olds don't care.
I understand that. I'm just saying, though, you want hope or history. And so, and that's why it's like Detroit, like, this is our time. This is our time. This is our team. And they got their rug pulled right from under them. And if you know Detroit, people know the Detroit history, they have a history of heartache and suffering. They made Barry retire. Okay? Made Calvin Johnson retire because of frustration. And now you get to the point where we got to turn around. We're Detroit. We're going to get over that hump. We got Dan Campbell, and Washington steals their history, steals their joy, steals, their hope for the future. Yes, they're going to feel good about next year, but if they don't get it done, all they got is hope. They got no history.
But hope can carry you. But also, as Ted Lasso says, it's the hope that kills you. So,
I mean, it is. But I mean, just saying, if you don't get it done, it doesn't matter.
Can Cowboy fans get hope though in reset? And I don't think they can right now.
And now, is that because of, like Kevin Gray said, is it because of who's in charge, or is it because who's now the head coach, or your key players that are coming back that'll be the force behind this team? They can't get hope in those guys. Like, which one of the factors would the Cowboy fans look at and they go, it's Jerry and Steven, it's Schottenheimer and company, it's Dak, CD, Micah, and others?
It's the recent history of an all-in offseason that it was not that. It's the idea that last season was, hey, we will make some moves because we were 12-5. We went to the playoffs 3 straight years. We can get over the hump. We're around the rim. And then instead of going for the rim, you flopped and fell on your face.
Well, the problem is that after 12-5, 12-5, and 12-5, the regular season didn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay? No one cared.
100%.
Until you got to show me in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, you always had, that was the Cowboys' mindset. That was the media's mindset. I don't care. You got to do it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, again, it's the same. But it doesn't matter if the Cowboys get to the playoffs next year. If they flop, if they go one and done under Brian Schottenheimer, are you feeling good that they got back to the playoffs after 7-10? That's the problem. 7-10, and you get to the playoffs, you go 10-7, 11 and what else 6, and get to the playoffs. Is that improvement? Or are we in the same damn vortex you've been in for the last 30 years?
I think they just want to see them do something. I think they want to see them try. I think they want to see them actually take part. Do something. Like
do something.
Yeah, do something.
What's doing something
in the off season? Take part in the arms race. Make some moves.
It don't matter what you do in the off season if it don't show up.
But we're talking about resets, and I think that would allow a reset if you can actually put some tangible evidence for optimism. And I don't think they did that last season. I think that they said they would do it, and those words, I know the all-in phrase, it can be Jerry wanted to say what it actually meant. Those words hurt, and that's the recent history. You talk about history over hope. It's hard to have hope when your recent history is that.
This fandom thing is always a fascinating thing to me because it almost separates. It almost separates just the mindset and the normalcy of what people normally do in life. Because in life, when you have failures, you reset.
Yeah.
Like if you have a bad relationship, that doesn't stop you from diving in the next relationship. You reset, you find another relationship, right? Like something like your car breaks down, you reset and you get another car, or you get that one fixed and you go on about your business. Like in life, we do so many things where when the bad happens to us, we we compartmentalize it, we deal with it, whether it be an emotional thing, a physical thing, and then we reset. And that's behind us and we begin to press forward in everything in life. But when it comes down to fandom, that's just one of those sticking points where people are just like, hell nah, the history says I'm scarred, I got PTSD. We'll see. All All right, head into the next segment, man. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl because you guys are traveling to the Super Bowl. It's going to be
We're going to the Super Bowl.
It's going to be a very interesting thing. We'll give our Super Bowl previews and maybe some early picks on that, and then we'll give Joe has some things that Clarence went through this week. Stay right here with us on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. We'll be right back. Are you a diehard? You see these shirts? Look at these shirts. No, stop doing that. Like
that muscle,
because you don't beat the allegations of being the pop. Like that's a
nothing there.
That ain't
No, there's some there. There's some there.
There's not nothing anything there. That's not nothing there. There's nothing there. It's like a loaf of bread all the way across. It's like a loaf of bread from the shoulder to the elbow. It just
see something popping up there.
That's not bad.
But look at these shirts. You see these shirts right here? You too can be the owner of one of these shirts for free if you sign up to be a diehard today. You get one of these shirts, and then when you become a diehard, if you want more of these shirts, maybe you like mine, maybe you like Clarence, maybe you like Joe's, doesn't matter. You get 20% off anything from the merch store. And by the way, we got a sale, right, Katia? We got a sale going on in the merch store right now. We got a sale going. We have some items up to 75% off in the merch store. So if you're looking for a shirt, if you want to get a shirt for a friend, if you want to add to your shirt collection, we got a sale going on in the merch store right now. Also, when you become a diehard member, you do get the 20% off. You do get all of the content that we do, that we write, that these guys write, that the Mavs, that the Rangers, that the Stars, all of that is in the in the package for becoming a diehard. Then you get into our events. Our events, I'm telling you, when we line these events up and you guys come out to see these events, it's going to be fantastic. And we have an event coming up. February 6th, we're going to have a watch party at Cosm. I don't know how we have like 7 or 8 tickets left, I believe. So if you want to come watch this at the watch party, the Mavs are playing the Celtics at Cosm. It is lit. Now, these tickets aren't cheap, but become a diehard. You get some off of it. Come see. You make you feel like you're in there.
Whoa.
Be a diehard. And most importantly of it all, you get to be around us, and you get that carrying card. That carrying card is going to get you through, man. You need one of those carrying cards. All right, man. New Orleans.
Dro body bagged me.
Look at Dro nose.
Dro body bagged me.
Like an undercover cop.
That is spy.
Let's go to the super chat. Let's hit these super chats at the top of this
That
thing.
is a spy.
We got Nesto out the way. This has come from R. Dell. The culture is rotten. And maybe so. Maybe so. I'm not saying that you're lying, but what does it have to do with your reset? Like, the culture is rotten, but what does it have to do with your reset?
Because they care. They're invested. They're invested, and they can't control it. At the end of the day, you can't control it.
At the end of the day,
you can't control it.
I mean, your team is your team. I mean, you always.
Why do we?
Your team is your team.
Why do we get I can't control it. Like, why do we choose fandom to get so self-righteous? I struggle with it because any team that I cheer for is a team that I cheer for because I personally have put in the sweat equity, right? So I think.
So you never were a fan of a team growing up?
Never.
But
there you go.
You're a unicorn. Okay, you're different. You're an outlier. That's not that's not the people in the chat.
But what I'm
that's
saying
not the fans. Is that's your team. I grew up with this team. I live and die with this team. You know, it makes my day bright. I feel better. You know, I once said this quote I said when Texas won the national championship in 2006, way back then. Winning a championship can be better than sex sometimes.
No one's ever said that.
Yeah, I said it.
No, that's
it's been better because you can relive it. You can relive. You go back and I understand that, but just the euphoria of winning, you can relive it over and over and over again. That moment, and you still feel good about that, and that's what happened with your team.
So you ain't never had that thing hands up from the back. I'm trying to see what that you ain't never had that thing. I'm trying to see what that be like. I'm trying to hear what that be like.
Look at that one overtime. Yes, I mean, you get to relive it over and over. And I'm talking as a fan. You as a player.
A championship.
I understand that, and so you different.
I won a championship. And boy, I done had some things. I done had some things that felt better than that championship.
Yeah, but when you won that championship, you got more of that too. I mean, come on. Come on. It comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. It's like I always tell these new Cowboys, y'all think y'all special. Win 3 Super Bowl titles in Dallas.
Oh yeah.
You think you special being a Cowboy? Win 3 Super Bowl titles in Dallas. But from a fan standpoint, you that's your team. That's who you root for. You're always gonna feel good or want to feel good. You're gonna buy in. You're gonna drink the Kool-Aid because that's your team. You want them to do well.
I don't know if you guys remember the house party. Remember the house party episode, and they're driving in the car, and the dude's like, man, I all I could do is visualize this thing, man. I mean, sometimes I could be with my girl, and I'm getting ready to, and all I could do is visualize this, man. It was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. So you talk about winning the championship is better than sex. I don't know about all that.
Theoretically, figuratively, not literally. No, not literally.
Look at Nesto's on point, by the way, about you.
But what did he say?
Pop ready to knock the stuff in out that Cajun.
Yeah, you don't have to put that. Cajun muffin.
But here's it.
Got my Blue Chew on order.
So, and I had this conversation a couple days ago with Kevin and Bobby and Katia was in there, and it just like if someone hurts you, if someone hurts you over and over and over again, you leave.
No, that's
you wouldn't take the abuse.
Yeah, but it's a toxic relationship being a fan. It is. It is.
That's what I'm saying. We go from this one real world perspective, and then we are a completely different mindset.
Because you want to get your lick back. I mean, it's like you're a North Carolina fan when Duke beats you and they was winning all those titles and it was feeling bad.
Them winning all them titles.
They won more than you in a few years. There was a stretch when they were winning more than you. There was a stretch.
I don't know about all that.
I don't know about all that. But the bottom line is, you always look for that opportunity to get your lick back. When they came to Cameron Indoor, what came to Dean Smith Dome.
Dean Dome.
Yes, you want to get your lick back. And that's what fans, they take this stuff from these Eagles, these Washington Commanders, these 49ers, and they don't want to leave their team. They want to make the Eagles fans and the 49er fans and the Commanders fans feel how they feel when they come into AT&T Stadium and lose. They want to get their lick back. They're not going to lead a team and give up on their team. They want to get their lick back. Like when Oklahoma was kicking our butt all them years, I wanted to get my lick back. I wasn't going, I'm just not going to root for Texas because we can't beat Oklahoma. No. I want to root for Texas. I'm going to bleed. We're going to get it done every time we go into Cotton Bowl, and I want to get my lick back.
I guess
there's also an investment too.
Yeah, but you're invested.
You're so invested, and there's the sunk cost fallacy, and it's if I ever leave this, let's just hypothetically say that, okay, we take the route of the healthy route and say, you know what, this team has hurt me so many times. I'm not going to be a fan. I'm not going to watch. This is going to be the year where I change. This is my New Year's resolution. Well, what happens when the Cowboys then turn around and win a Super Bowl? Okay, if you've invested all that and then turn around only to see it pop off, look what happened to the Victoria's Secret guy, right? You know what I mean?
What happened to him?
What happened to him?
He sold his investment early, and then it popped off, and then popped off.
I thought it was popped off.
And then it didn't end well for the Victoria's Secret guy. Okay, so that's what I'm saying is if you were to leave your team, if you were to leave being the Cowboys fan, and they won the Super Bowl, it would just feel so weird and wrong. I don't know about all that.
I guess.
Go to the photo.
I guess.
What?
No, let's talk about.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
Okay,
We're almost there.
Okay.
The memes will come.
Yeah, you guys are headed to New Orleans. We'll be on Radio Row all week long. The Chiefs and the Eagles. I heard a crazy stat.
It better be crazy.
It was crazy. Trey Wingo talked about this stat.
I saw this stat.
You saw that stat?
This is a crazy stat.
Trey Wingo said that there's 127 drives in the fourth quarter.
This is a crazy
since
stat.
2002. 127 drives in the Super Bowl, in the playoffs and then the Super Bowl of a team being down by 3 or 7 points. They have the ball, driving to either score 3 or get 7 to either win the game or send the game in the overtime. Out of this 127 drives, Tom Brady was, I think, 4 of 11. His record is 4 and 11 in those moments out of one of the 127 drives. Drew Brees was 3 and 6.
Not easy situation.
Not easy situations. Like games on the line. We're talking about games on the line. Patrick Mahomes is 7-0.
7-0.
He's 7.
He's perfect.
He's perfect when the game is on the line.
You know who he is? He's inevitable. He's Thanos. He's inevitable. He's perfect.
Yeah, of course. I mean, just like everybody's complaining about the game last Sunday and how they didn't give him the fourth down call. 3:33.
Yeah.
3:33. Your boy had the ball with 3:33 left to go down and win the game.
Yeah.
He didn't get it done.
Will this Super Bowl be, how can I put this? Will it be won by the Eagles or lost by the Chiefs?
It would be lost by the Chiefs because for the first time, Patrick Mahomes would not succeed in that
scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because look what happens to the Chiefs. They're always kind of put in precarious positions. They're always put in tough positions. And Mahomes is always there to answer the call. Niners had him on the rope twice. The Eagles, Bills had him. It doesn't matter. He's inevitable. That's why you talk about resets. I think Kansas City Chiefs fans don't have to reset every year because they're like, you know what? At the end of the day, we have 15 slinging it back there, and I am not worried.
Yeah, I mean,
with average receivers, with average running backs,
maybes,
with an average offensive line, you got some dude from
Juju
guard.
Smith-Schuster is making plays in the year of our Lord 2025.
You got a guy at left move from guard to left tackle, protecting his blind side. They just get it done. I mean, they got Patrick Mahomes and they got
Daniel kind of bodied you.
He killed him in the super
Daniel
chat.
bodied you.
Oh, pull up a super chat. Let's see.
20 spot. That boy, Daniel.
Is he acting like the Cowboys didn't fire him twice and he back in with the Cowboys?
You're one of us. You're one of us.
Nah, Cowboys don't pay y'all. Cowboys pay me.
Yeah.
Cowboys help me buy my house. Cowboys still help me pay my mortgage. So I'm not one of you. I'm not. The Cowboys pay me.
Still paying.
They still paying me. I still get checks from the Cowboys. So I'm not one of you. My suffering is not like yours.
You're still partial to the Cowboys, though.
Yeah. No, don't get me
You're
wrong.
partial to
Oh,
them.
I am partial. I am a Cowboy. I root for the
you're
Cowboys.
partial to the Cowboys. Yeah.
100%.
So you're a Cowboy fan.
But I'm not one of you. Like I'm not. I'm just,
But you're invested.
You're invested.
Yeah,
They're invested.
If the Cowboys lose, my day isn't ruined. The Cowboys lose, my week isn't ruined. I move on.
You're a unicorn.
Hey,
And we love you for
He's an outlier.
And we
This
love you for
is.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do anything. I didn't play that game.
And he's a Cowboy fan, but he's not Michael Irvin Cowboy fan.
No,
Michael Irvin, that's a legacy thing. Michael Irvin's daddy was a Cowboy fan. He grew up a Cowboy
Yeah.
fan. Like that's a legacy
They
thing.
knew
He
all
watched,
them-
they watched the game bounce on their daddy's knee. I didn't come from
they
that.
all grew up Cowboy fans.
Yeah, that's a legacy thing. They've been fans long before they even became Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. All right, Joe, you got something.
You ready, Kat? We're getting to with the memes because this was the photo caught of Clarence, and then we got STX Mario
So let's
first.
do the backdrop. This is the press conference. This is the Brian Schottenheimer being introduced at the Star.
Yep.
With Jerry and Steven, and that's Clarence on the front row.
And Calvin got the first question, and Clarence was a little perturbed about this. So we got STX Mario saying Clarence fighting the urge to tell the new coach, if you want to win, put Pop in. All right, next. Maybe 30 years isn't a drought. I love the quotes, too. They promised us snacks if we sat through this meth. Lord Jesus, give me strength. Did you bring any snacks today?
I didn't have.
Wow.
I did not even go get snacks upstairs.
Resolutions. All right, next up. Just draft Quinn Ewers, round 1, to complete the aneurysm and put me out of my misery. Any thoughts?
No. Quinn's not going to be round 1.
Record scratch. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I wound up in this situation in the first place.
30 years.
How did you end up in this situation?
Legacy.
You know, my dream was to be a Cowboy growing up. I didn't get to be a Cowboy.
So you want to be like Jesse.
But I covered the Cowboys, so it's the same thing.
Jesse lived your
different
dream.
version of the same
Jesse
dream.
lived your dream.
Different version of the same dream.
Super chats before we get up out of here, Katya. I know we're good. Daniel bodied me, but not so much. For $20, you can body
Daniel's,
me.
and he did the hearts. And
For all of that. And listen, Cowboy fans, I love you. I root for the Cowboys. I cheer for the Cowboys. I'm not trying to throw anything in your face. We cool. We people. I just have a different perspective. And that's what's great about the world. I don't have to agree with what you agree with. You don't have to agree with what I would agree with. As long as we keep loving everybody and we just harmonious in what we do. And we're all kind of going through this thing together. My suffering is different than your suffering. I want to play deep until January because I get paid for it. Remember, you never know what anyone's going through. Always be kind. You know how I get down. Eliminate the contingencies.
Bourbon Street, here we come.
See you in New Orleans.
We all silly like the mayor.